Yo, 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 what up?
What up, dog? What up, killer?
I
What
got
up,
dog.
man?
You sleep? What's going
Bruh,
on?
I ain't gonna lie. The boy tired today, dog. I ain't gonna lie to you, man.
Man, I feel
Usually
it.
I like to think I'm Superman and I don't get tired. But that son beat me up, man. I go out there and cut that grass. Son beat me up, dog.
You thought you was Kevin Gates out here. Okay.
I don't get tired. Shit.
Not today. Nah, but we want to start this first shouting out Wear. Make sure y'all go grab y'all stuff. Grab your shorts, grab your robes, grab your bodysuits, grab your socks, grab your slides, grab whatever you need. Head over to Wear. Make sure you use those codes eShow10 or Carolina Muscle and get all the things you need for your show. There's no other reason why you're not wearing Wear. And if there is a reason, DM it to us so I could tell it. But but nah, I think it's good that we have an episode. It's been a while since it's just been me and you talking about random topics. And I think the one thing about us is we may scroll Instagram here and there and we see topics. And
We
it's been
see
a
a
while
lot of
since
shit. We
yeah,
see a lot of shit.
we see a lot of stuff. And it's been a while since we got to talk about it. And I mean, all that we are two opinions. I mean, nothing we say is the gospel. But we wanted to speak on a few things, and I saw something you posted that was kind of that raised my eyebrows. So I was like, let's bring it to the public platform and talk about it. So I wish I had the post, but you made a post about when leaving a coach. Do you technically owe that coach, or do you at least tell that coach that you're moving on from them before just up and leaving, right?
Right.
So, where did you get? I guess where did you get that frame of for posting that?
Man, it was just because I see a lot of competitors.
Mhm.
They're with one coach for one prep, and then next thing you know, they're with a different coach.
Mm.
And sometimes, like the coach was like, "Oh well, I don't know. Like they just went over there and didn't tell me anything." So that's where that came from. And for me, I think it's two ways to look at it. It's kind of a layered question, right? Should you inform your coach if you're going to a different coach? Are you still working with that coach currently? Like, do you do your are you prepping yourself during the off season, or is that coach with you in your off season? Like, to me, it's just a layered question. But I would love to hear what you have to say about it first.
I mean, coming from a person who left multiple coaches, like I think I always had to sit down with them, regardless of regardless of whatever it was. I always had a conversation, and I
Right.
think it was more so of the fact of if we're not getting the result we want, then that's probably understood.
Yeah.
And usually it's something we talk about, right? I think after all the shows that we've done, like I always tell people at the end of the season, if you do choose to go and do an off season by yourself, we have like a not like an exit interview, but it's like, hey, let's recap the season that we just had. Let's talk about, is there something I could have done better? Is there something you could have done better? And then, I mean, ultimately you get all the feels out there, but then if you choose to leave after that, then there's an understanding there of like, hey, we didn't reach the mark or we didn't hit the mark. I think it's one of those things of if we're having constant conversations like, man, everything went great. I think we did great. And the next thing you know, you're with another coach. Then I think that's like the dang, what happened? You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think with the prior coaches that I had, I kept getting the same feedback. It was like, come in more condition, come in more condition, come in more condition. I'm like, all right, I'm following the plan. I'm not getting the result I want. So, is it me? Is it you? Maybe this just isn't a good working have, and we move forward. So I think for me, like I said, I had that conversation with multiple coaches, so I know how that goes. And I think it's ultimately some people that conversation because you build more of a friendship during that coaching period. So
Yeah.
they feel like they'll lose a friend. But then ultimately, I tell each and every one of my clients, I was just like, hey, like if we're not getting the results that we're getting, then I understand that. Ultimately, I am friends with almost, I ain't gonna say almost, I'm friends with all my clients. Like I'm cool with all my clients. So hopefully I build that connection enough for them to come and tell me like, hey, this ain't working, or I don't feel like they're listening, or whatever that is. And it'd be no harm, no foul. We'll still be cool, you know. So I think ultimately that's my perspective on it. But what about, I guess, what about you? Like, if you were to,
Well, let me ask you one more question.
okay,
So, should it be like one show, and then if you don't get the result you want from that coach, you go, or should you at least give that coach, 2 or 3 opportunities to try to get you the result that you want? Because I know
uh,
that sometimes people prep for a coach for like one show and they get their feelings hurt because they don't place work where they want to place, and they immediately skate out the door.
right. Bodybuilding is a data-driven sport, so I'm gonna be politically correct. Data-driven, it's a data-driven sport, meaning the more data that someone has on you, the better your results should be.
Right.
So I think for my clients, most of the ones I talk to, very frequently, it's like the person I have the most data on, the person that has been competing with me more than once or for more than 1 year, we have the best results. I always tell people when you start coaching somebody, as bad as people want to mask it, it's a guessing game at the very beginning because you don't know this person from a can of paint. Like
Right.
you guys are guessing and then making educated decisions as you move along and collect data. That's the only way to coach somebody. It's not like I coach you tomorrow and I know exactly what to do for your body unless you provide me data that you already have.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all about collecting data and moving forward. So I think for most people, you should do 2 to 3 shows with someone. Now, whether that's in the span of a year or the span over multiple years, because if your result is you're not winning because you're not big enough, that's not the coach's fault. Like, because most likely, unless that coach is saying, "Hey, let's keep competing, let's keep competing, let's keep competing," but me as a coach, if they're saying, "Hey, you're not big enough," then hey, we need to enter a growth phase.
Yeah.
We need to grow in order to improve your placements. So if, but for me, I almost think like you should give a coach at least a year, or a year or two, to at least go through a whole prep with you, right? Or multiple preps, because I think once you just quit on a coach, you're starting that cycle all over again with the next person. So I think you should give that coach multiple shots. But then ultimately, I can't tell people like that's gospel because you're ultimately paying this person. So if you're
Right.
not getting the result you want, feel free. Like you don't have to pay that person anymore.
Yeah, and I think that's where the instant success come in at. People see other people on Instagram get their pro card in one show and they think they can go mock that. And when they don't, they're like, "Well, I need to go find me a new coach." Like, okay, got it. But for me, man, I'm gonna give you the adult politically correct answer first. Yes, I think you should inform, your coach, your old coach, whatever the case may be. It's just simple communication, and as adults, that's what we should do: communicate, right? Reason being, I'm gonna just give you a scenario. I'm working with Coach Jim, right? Been working with Coach Jim for the last 5 years. Me and Coach Jim didn't have the conversation. Now Coach Nick is coaching me. Coach Jim probably think Coach Nick done slid in my inbox and said some things to me to make me go over there. So now Coach Jim and Coach Nick got problems. So I think that's where the communication factor is very important. So you let your old coach know, hey, I'm moving in a different direction. I mean, you don't even have to tell them that you're getting a new coach. Just ultimately end that coaching relationship with the old coach or whatnot. So another scenario I have, and I can use myself as an example. Some of it's truth, some of it's not truth. But for me, I have a coach. My coach coached me during prep. In the off season, I do my own thing. I do my own programming. I do all that myself. So what if I decide to go get a new coach during my off season without informing my old coach? Am I obligated to tell him that?
You asking or telling?
No, I'm asking.
I
I'm
mean,
asking.
what is your relationship with your coach, right? Like I do the
Right.
same exact thing. Like like I'm very vocal about my coaches because I told you those are my last coaches. Like I'm not going
Mm-hmm.
anywhere, and they know I'm not going anywhere. So for Jeff, he was like, yo, you coach a multitude of different athletes. Like you coach multiple people. You know what you're doing in your off season. And when you need to reel it back in, you can always, come back. And I tell people that also is a vicious cycle because they're guessing. But the thing about me is I track my weight. So I know everything. So I give them data when I go in there. So I think leaving your coach in the off season and still not having that conversation is still, I don't think that's the right thing to do because you've been with somebody for 5 years, right? You say you go off and do your thing, but you
Right.
always come back. So in their
they're expecting
mind,
you to come
they're
back,
expecting
right?
you to come back. So by you just leaving, and then the next thing you know, it says, "Oh, Jamal with Team Nick. What happened?" Like,
Yeah.
so then it's almost like I always say, like, the one thing I don't want to do in this space is burn bridges, right?
Mhm.
I think I have tried over the years to build a decent reputation, decent enough reputation that my name supersedes whatever I do. So I think in this space, it's too small to just create a bad bridge or create a bad vibe with somebody, knowing you're going to either see them at a show, see them on Instagram, see them wherever just for it to be a bad vibe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think ultimately, just because I go off in my off season, I still probably am going to claim that coach. Like, hey, this is still my coach whenever I'm in season. So I think ultimately there had to be a conversation that they either know that I'm leaving or it's just like I just won't just up and leave a coach.
Right. Long story short, guys and girls, communication is key. Inform the coach if you're moving on. Like I said, you don't have to say, hey, this person's coaching me now. Just have the simple conversation. Hey, I appreciate what you did for me, or I appreciate what you didn't do for me. We didn't hit the mark, so I'm dipping out.
Nah. And I think, but like I said, don't take anything we say as gospel. Like you don't have to do that. If you like, I have seen like when you posted it, I've seen horror stories in your comments. Like this coach gave me copy and paste protocols for drugs, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, hey, peace. Like you know what I mean? But it's one of those things of it. It's like independent upon your person, and I also think it's independent upon like how well you know that coach. Like if y'all really had history and did some things together, I would say, hey, like, hey, just letting you know I'm going in a new direction. I appreciate for how far you got me, but I'm out.
Right.
So, but I didn't think we was gonna ramble about that long. But there's been another topic that's been on the back of my mind, and I know I would say behind the stage of these walls of this podcast, we talked about this. And I have to come out and publicly say, like, yo, my vision has changed on it about the requalification process. And this is specifically for the OCB. I think the rule, I don't want to say the rule wrong, but it's like if your card lapse or you do not pay for your card or for whatever reason that your card lapse, you have to requalify as an amateur, right? I know we felt very strongly about this before, but I have to say they are holding people feet to the fire and making sure that people have to requalify.
And I
I
love
think,
to see it. I ain't
hey,
gonna lie. I love to see it.
I think we
So
saw instances.
OCB,
Yeah,
you're doing a great job.
I think we saw instances like, and the thing is, we talk about it so many times about how we don't want to make it our opinion, but people quote unquote say that getting a pro card is easy, or that a lot of people who don't deserve a pro card gets their card. But then we saw people like Kendall who requalified and got her pro card again. Shout out to the guy this weekend. I forgot his real name, but his Instagram handle is Les Boogie, and he had a post afterwards like, "Hey, thank you to OCB for making sure that you're keeping it honest and making it the most competitive organization." Because I think it did more than one thing for me. It also made me say, like, you can't go half step into any show.
Right.
You can't. Like, you got to be on when you go to these shows, because you never know. There may be a pro in that amateur lineup, and it can take you for surprise.
No, for sure. And like I said, I think I'm glad that they're holding everybody accountable with the rule or whatnot, and they're just not letting people, slide by. And like you said, you can't go half stepping because I know two people personally that was pros and they had to go back in the ranks and they then got their head knocked off by people that wasn't pros, like quote unquote amateurs, because they had to requalify or whatnot. So I mean, everybody can sit here and say OCB is a joke, which that's a whole nother topic we can get into. All these young ass coaches now getting fucking mad because they're people not winning shows. But the competition in the OCB is thick, and it's been thick for years. So all these people that are saying, "Oh, the competition level is and all that in OCB, and it's so easy to get a pro card," I don't think that's true. Do OCB hand out? I'm not even gonna say hand out. Do OCB award a lot of people each weekend? Yes, because they got a lot of shows, right? But I don't think the process is easy to get a pro card.
And I think we harped on this. It's almost like if you get your pro card, what's the so what, right? Like, what do you do with that pro card? Like, do you just get the pro card to hang it up, or are you going to go
Right.
compete on the pro level? So I hate when people promote like, "Oh, come get your pro card with me." So these people are just getting pro cards. Are they trying to get on the pro stage? Like, what's the next step? You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And I think that's the big thing because it's like having a pro card and not using it. I know there's people who say, "Oh, I want to grow or I want to do this," but there's people who's just getting pro cards just to get pro cards, or hey, my team got all these pro cards, but how many pro shows have your athletes done? You
Bro,
know,
and this is just my opinion. I think some of these fucking coaches now, like the pro card matters more to the coach than it does the actual competitor that actually won the pro card. So they can say, "Oh, I got 50 people that I helped get a pro card." So I think the pro card, I think more athletes are not valuing the pro card anymore, but the coaches are, if that makes sense.
I think it may be, and like I said, these are all opinions, but I think it may be because the shift of social media. It's
Yeah,
like, hey, I'm capable of getting people pro cards, and I mean that's the goal, right? But are you an accomplished coach if you're just getting people pro cards? Are they moving forward to the next step? Are they still progressing to the pro stage? You know, like the whole purpose of going pro in something is competing as a pro. Like,
right.
you know what I mean? Like, what's the point of getting a pro card if you're not going to compete as a pro? Uh,
Hmm.
if that's the case, just be a glorified amateur. Do it over and over again. You know what I mean? Like the thrill's done once you get the pro card. You know, because you're right back at the bottom of the chopping block. Um, but I think ultimately, with that being said, I tell people achieving and accomplishing your pro card is a big thing, right? Anything you set out to be and you become a professional at, that's a big thing. But it's almost like, what do you do? What's the next step after that?
Right. I
So,
agree. Because
um,
there's some amateurs that they get that pro card, and this is just my opinion. They're not ready. They step on a pro stage, and then they see what it's all about. Like, yeah, dude, you might want to take a year or two off. And then you get some amateurs that's in that 1% that can go to a pro show and place top three. So
yeah. And I think just to really back in on the topic of like the whole requalification thing, um, I think it's a great rule. There's some organizations that, once you're a pro, always a pro. I think that's a
yeah,
great rule as well. I think everybody does stuff a little bit differently, and that's perfectly fine. But their whole requalification process, like I said, I think mentally as a coach, it brings back that fire of you can't you can't half step. And I love it. Like, you know what I
yeah,
mean? I love the mindset of I think if you say, hey, I'm a pro and I'm gonna just, I'm gonna go beat up on these amateurs or go beat these amateurs, you never know.
you never know.
So I think I have about two more topics and I kind of just want to keep the conversation flowing. So there was another reel. I wish, like I said, one day we're gonna just bring these reels up here and listen to them and then go after it. Um, but another reel was about how people were saying about how competitive X show is against X organization or X
Man,
organization.
you might as well say it. There was some guy up there saying that the NPC is more competitive than the OCB. Correct? You talking about that one?
So yeah, they were saying it's more competitive, and they're saying because there's a lot of shows, etc., that there's lesser competition. And I want to speak out on this, because I think it's a beautiful thing to actually go to a couple shows of both in this year. And if we're being honest, there's a lot of shows in the NPC. There's a lot of shows in the OCB. There's a lot of shows everywhere, right? You just happen to be in the two biggest organizations that have the most shows. NPC has a show every weekend, and guess what? So does OCB. Sometimes more than one every weekend, in different locations. So the whole thing about it is, I have been to OCB shows with less than 40 people. I have been to NPC shows with less than 40 people. But then I go to an OCB show and there's 100 people. Same thing, you go to an NPC show that has 100 people. So when people say, "Oh, the competition is just more spread out," or that the competition isn't there, like that's not true. I have seen natural pros go win NPC shows with 30 people in it. You know what I mean? I have seen that same person go win shows with 100 people in it. So it's the fact that I think everybody wants to be super opinionated about this and saying, "Oh, the NPC is really testing you where you're at." And I can honestly say the stage that tested me the most was the natural stage. And I haven't been on every NPC stage, so I can't speak for every NPC stage. But I feel like there are benefits to both stages for whoever wants to compete there. But ultimately, the choice of where you compete is up to you. You don't have to bash the other to pick up the other. Simple as that.
And I'm gonna agree with you there. I'm not gonna sit here and talk down on neither one of the organizations, but people got to understand, NPC is it, right? Like when you think of bodybuilding, everybody thinks of NPC, but just by them even mentioning OCB in the conversation with NPC, that should tell you a lot right there, right? It should tell you a freaking lot. So, like I said, for me, I never competed in NPC. I have been to one or two shows, and like I'm not gonna lie, like I see some of some of the people on stage, and I'm like, yeah, I know a couple of us natural people that can go over there and get busy with them. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure you get it too, and I get it a lot. It's like, man, why come you don't compete in the NPC? You do very well over there. So, like I said, I think both are great. It just depends on what you want as far as the individual and what your goals really are. Simple as that.
Yeah. And I think just to I guess round this topic off, when people say certain things, I think especially with the NPC natural coming up, you got to realize like there's a lot of guys who've been competing at a very high level in the natural organizations already. So going to an NPC natural show, I have seen natural pros go to NPC natural shows and do very, very well.
Yeah.
Just put it there. And I'm pretty sure Logan's not going to care about this because Logan, he doesn't care about a lot of things. But Logan, he actually went to the NPC natural show, right?
Mm-hmm.
And got second overall. Made it to the overall, got second overall. I think there was a total of at that particular show, I think it was like 12 or 13 classic guys. 2 weekends later, we go to No Gear, and he goes against 24 classic amateurs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's all about the weekend, and it's all about what show you go to. Like, let's be real. Like, we can't. It's not apples and oranges, right? It's just not. So whether it's an NPC natural stage, an NPC untested stage, OCB, AMBF, USBF, they're all different. But it's all a place you can compete, and ultimately, it's dependent upon what you want to do with your career. Like, I don't tell people, "Oh, you can't do this show or you can't do this show." It's just like, "Hey, where you want to go, where I got to coach you to." That's it.
Bro, but did you know the crazy thing, and this just popped into my head. Hypothetically speaking, if the top competitors in the OCB just happen to go do a local NPC show, right? And we blow everybody out the water, do you know what everybody's excuse would be? Oh, well, you're already a pro. You're a pro in a different organization. Like that would literally be their excuse. Literally.
I mean, we will have to. I mean, it. I mean, it would be like. But the thing is, I have seen natural pros win untested shows.
Right.
So I just ultimately think if you have a great physique, you have a great physique. It doesn't matter what stage you stand on. And I'm a
I
firm
agree.
believer behind that. So, all right. So I think I have one more topic. Like I said, I have them written down over here, so I gotta do my research. Um, I guess this will be the last one, but we're both coming off of an off season, or we're probably still in the off season, knowing you hefty 207. But why do you think we're coming off of June 2, which is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month? But why do you think so many people struggle in the off season mentally versus in season?
Uh, Man, I can speak on this myself because I was struggling with it at first.
Mhm.
When I'm in season, I'm working towards a goal. Like I know what shows I'm gonna do, so I know I have to put in the work. To me, when I'm not working towards a goal, like my progress is, I know the goal is to get bigger, right? Like that's everybody's quote unquote goal during the off season, grow. I just I feel like I'm really not working towards something as far as a show. Yes, I'm working to grow, but like I don't have a set date in my head that I know that I'm chasing pretty much. So I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like I struggle with that a lot. Probably what is it just hit July. So probably the last 3 months, bro. Like I was really struggling with that. Like some mornings I didn't even want to go to the gym. I'm just like, yeah, like whatever, because I feel like I don't have nothing that I'm chasing per se. So that's what it was for me. I can't speak on nobody else, but that's what it was for me.
Yeah, I could say I don't think I'm exactly the same, but I think for me, it's more so of like you said, you have a date, you have certain things that you got to get ready for. I think in the off season for me, I hate to say it, but it's almost like I tell people would disagree, but it's like I tell people I'm better in prep. I'm a like when I say I'm more structured. Like if you say, "Hey,
Yeah,
Eric, what are you doing at 3:45 on Tuesday?" and I'm in prep, I know what I'm doing at 3:45 on
right.
Tuesday. You know what I mean? When I'm not in prep, I have all this. It's almost like I cut the strictness off. I cut the routines off, or I'm a little bit more lenient on the routine.
Right.
So I think in season that you get a more structured or more focused and more I think because you have to be that, right? In the
Mm-hmm.
off season, you can slack off a little bit. You can go eat what you want. You can do all the things you actually that comes to mind that you want to do. But I think in season that structure um, is where it's super important. And I actually talked to like pretty much I think 90% of my clients like, hey, this year I really want to hone in and say, and I mean you can probably add on to this or disagree with this. Like, if you really want to be good as a pro, your off season has to be structured as well. Like you have to, I think you have to take an off season seriously. I'm not saying everyone, but you have to take one of them things seriously to improve into the next year. I think I can honestly say the year that I got my first pro win, that off season, I don't think I got over 210. A I was like a machine. Like I was super structured that summer. Um, and I think even the year that I won the Yorton and I had that off season, that was probably one of the more structured off seasons I had going into that year.
No, I definitely agree, man. And like I see a lot of people on social media, and this pops up into my head because I know what I did for the last 4 years, the sacrifices. And I'm not even gonna say the sacrifices, like I wasn't out drink, like I wasn't doing none of that because I knew what I wanted. I knew I wanted to go win this Yorton Cup. So there's just certain things that I didn't do. And if you want to be average, be average. But if you want to be great, you have to sacrifice certain things to be great and go after what you want to go after. And I don't think a lot of people really understand that. Like
Yeah.
when we talk about bodybuilding, people like to throw balance in there. When you want to be great, there isn't no balance. You're fucking focused, like you're going after it. But people like to throw the word balance around in bodybuilding, and that's why, to me, they're just average competitors.
Yeah, and I think as I got older, I would say young career. No, I had zero balance. I didn't have balance. I was unbalanced. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was focused. I was laser focused. I think later in the career now, like I have a focus period, like a very high focus period. And during those times, I try to be as routine, as focused as possible. But I think all people don't look at it that way. They're like, "Oh no, you can have balance, you can do this," and I think those mindsets. I don't think either is wrong, right? Because
Right.
everybody's career is individual. But I also know what kind of competitor I want it to be and what competitor I
Mm-hmm.
want to be, right? So someone can have balance in theirs. And I think you just have to agree to disagree when it comes to like saying I want balance. Like, hey, I think we said this on here, like, hey, we have made I don't know why my phone went off, but I said there's ways for me to do things now that I wouldn't never have done, but I'm also way more disciplined than I am now, right?
Yeah.
I think as a competitor, you find out how important sleep is,
Yeah.
how important recovery is. Like, you don't know how many people have called me an old man for going to sleep at 7:30, and it's like, well, I want to recover, and I want
Mm-hmm.
be able to wake up at 7:30 and not feel like I'm dragging, or not 7:30, 3:30 or 4:30 in the morning, and
Yeah.
make it where I'm not feeling like I'm just dragging to get through my workout. So there's certain things you prioritize. I'm not saying, oh, for 365 days I'm going to bed at 7:30. That's not what I'm saying. But when I have the choice or when I can do that, I will do that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, man. I agree with you, dog. There's just certain little things that people really think isn't a big deal, and it really is, especially when it comes to, like you said, this bodybuilding stuff and trying to recover and trying to be, trying to be great. If you want to be average, then keep doing what you're doing. But if you want to be great, then there's just things that you have to not do. So,
and I think I have one more question for you. So what do you think would be the first step to, well, what was your first step into building your career? I'm not going to say like your career is bodybuilding, but building your career on the stage of bodybuilding and then building your career off the stage of bodybuilding.
building my career on stage, it was just me locking in and knowing my own potential and having people around me that actually supported me that knew I could reach a certain level of success. So I think that's what helped me. Because like I said, I mean, you know the story. Before I won the Yorton, like I was body before I came to the OCB, I was bodybuilding, but I wasn't taking it seriously. Like I was just, hey, whatever, you know what I'm saying? So once I started taking it serious and I knew my potential, I think that's what helped me, get the success in the sport that I have. And my offstage success, I just think humility, man. Just treating everyone like a human. Me being me, never changing up. I am who I am. Either you love me or you're gonna hate me. The people that actually know me, they know where my heart is. So I guess just not changing up and just being an actual genuine person off the stage. So
Okay. Okay.
don't skate by, dog. Hey, I'm about to reverse. Hey, I just throw out that Uno card.
I think the thing, and when we say, I just want to say when we say careers in bodybuilding, I don't think this pays our bills by no means.
No.
We're talking about like the accolades and the accomplishments that we may have have skated through, like that wall of stuff behind him and this wall of stuff behind me. That's, I guess, what we're speaking about when we talk about the career. I think when I say about the career in bodybuilding, all it took was, I think, 2 or 3 people to believe in me back in the day for me to really push it to a level, right? Getting with the right support system of people saying, "Hey, you can win the Yorton." Like when I first got into this, I was like, man, I don't even know what I'm doing, right? But until I finally got with Jeff and Marianne, they were both like, "Hey, you can win the Yorton. Like you got the potential to win the Yorton. Like, you can do it." So I think it's first finding the right advisement, the right community, the right people, and have them in your corner. But then it's also like, hey, knowing what your work ethic is and what you're willing to do for that, for those accolades. Like I have a guy, everybody knows him, Nathan. He is a dog. He's gonna go no matter where. He's gonna go wherever he want to go. Like he's gonna go everywhere. And he has built a great career of collecting wins and competing often. And I think for a career off stage, man, I think it's building connections. It's building, like you said, genuine connections. Whether it's, I think that's also like believing in yourself or whatever your career is off stage. Like I coach people. I work for E2M. It's a lot of things that just believing in yourself. So it's just like once you believe in yourself, I think other people start to believe in you as well. And then you also have to believe in other people as well. So I think with all my clients and stuff like that, being able to pour into them day to day, that also helps because I think whenever you're at your lowest, your clients pour back into you unknowingly. So I think it's just one of those things of I think it's the same thing, humility, believing in yourself and believing in other people, and then building genuine connections. I think that's what bodybuilding is. I think that's what bodybuilding has been for a lot of people. And I think that's the part that people don't talk about. A lot of people talk about the brash egos and the pictures and half naked pictures, but a lot of people don't talk about the community that you actually build in the sport.
I agree with that.
Yeah. I said some real heartfelt stuff right there.
You did, man. I was about to shed a tear. I was like, "Oh man."
let me wipe
it.
But as y'all know, this was just I called him and said, "Hey, we're gonna run a 2-man," and he was like, "What you talking about a 2-man?" But we just wanted to run a 2-man, so hopefully this gets you through your cardio. I know it is mid-season. We're heading into our championship series. So make sure you tune in, like, comment, subscribe. Check us out on the Instagram. Let's get that Instagram to 5,000 people by December. We're only a little bit short from 5,000. I think we got 30
gotta get on that.
But go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, send this podcast to your favorite person in prep. But until next time, y'all, peace.